afternoon, America. We're here from Sydney, Australia. I say what's cracking, guys. As you check in, be sure to like this video and let me know where you're tapping in from. Also, guys, if you haven't joined our Discord, it's a couple bucks a month. It's a private invite only Discord. Join here on YouTube. Johnny Says Boxing. You become a VIP. It's a couple bucks a month. That link is pinned in the comment section below. We have a new week of boxing. There's cards all throughout the world. There's a card tomorrow in Africa. There's a card in Scotland that we're going to have a lot of interest in, considering one of our guys is fighting Nathanial. He's in a fight against Cristobal Lorente. This is a undefeated. Both guys are undefeated. The fight happens at 126 pounds. You have to think that the winner will further sort of propel themselves. Lorente is an undefeated guy from Spain. Nathanial, you'll recognize him at least from the channel. We featured him in his last fight against Lee McGregor. This fight is once again in Scotland. So the odds have come out. We're waiting to get odds on the Brandon Glanton fight. He fights Wednesday in Africa, along with Jersley Vargas, a little prospect from the money team. Kind of optically looks like Tank Davis, you know, under 10 pro fights. People are high on him. So we're going to see if the odds are opening on that. Right now on the books down here in Australia, we're getting 3 fights. We're getting Glacken versus Doherty, Hutchinson versus Jeffers, and we're also getting Collins versus Lorente. So as you guys are checking in, I'll stay on as long as you guys want to chat. I know it's not that busy, but like always, we're going to find our wins. We're going to find our victories. We are archaeologists. So as long as I'm live, you can chat. Let me know. Also follow on Instagram. Just search my name and I'll follow you back. A lot of boys private message me there. I haven't been 100% lately, but I feel better now than I have in at least a week. So the goal is to get back to my normally scheduled routine of 2 live streams a day with an upload. I will be uploading Nathanial versus Cristobal Lorente today. My breakdown, stats don't lie video, my prediction analysis. If you haven't already, though, those videos show up on my fight prediction playlist. Also, guys, hit the bell notification button. Go to my channel. You'll find a bell. Just click notifications so you'll be notified so you don't miss a live stream. Also, if you're a Johnny Says Boxing Insider, guys, be sure to join the Discord. And if you're in the Discord, because I got some stats out. We've had it for 2 months. I've noticed there's like 20% of you guys in there who haven't renewed your subscription. I'm doing it so far on an honor system, and I don't want to, you know, if you guys shouldn't be there, if you haven't rejoined, just do that so I don't have to, you know, govern it like a boss. I don't like doing stuff like that. So as we say, what's up, Tyler Randolph in the house? David, do you think bicycling is good exercise? Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm not a big cyclist, but anything cardio. Boxing fan, what's up? I am feeling better, guys. Thank you for asking. Yeah, definitely feeling better. I got food poisoning last Thursday night. And, you know, anyway, we're here. I thought I was fine, but we're good. Fuck that boot, those non-payment. Yeah, Boxing Man, I need to figure out how to do that because I got the statistics. You know, there's like 15% of people in there haven't renewed. So I have to figure out how to do that. And I know you sent me a link on how to put the paywall on Discord, but then I don't want to double charge people on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Because we started this on YouTube. Do I just introduce a paywall on Discord? I got to figure out how to do that. Yeah, because there's you know, the honor system was working, but you know, you figure as it grows and over time, people will take advantage of systems. It's a numbers game. It's kind of one of those things why they say societies weren't meant for millions of people. Towns, like societies can be run and governed in like a small group. They say the average size of a community, if you want things to run smoothly with no crime and success, they say it's less than 1,000. Statistically speaking, if you're looking at governing bodies run by one person. Anyway, what's up, Adu? Morning, Johnny. Who's winning the Rugby League Grand Final this weekend? Adu, man, if you follow the Insta, I hit with Brisbane beating Penrith. So I'm just gonna roll with Brisbane. I like the energy they bring to the table. I think Reece Walsh is coming into his own, so I'm cheering for Brisbane. You can get rid of the you can get rid of the YouTube paywall and just directly link the Discord with the paywall. Yeah. So, but then again, you know, I don't want to. Am I able to just introduce the paywall now into the already non-paywall Discord? Because that's what I was going to do. David Eister, I find it hard to believe Better Beav is scared of Najee. No, I don't think he is. Win Santiago, Glacken fight, and Hutchinson fight is good value. 100%. There is good value, guys. I'll work on that, how to fix it. You gave enough for it. Appreciate you, Boxing Fan. Yeah, Boxing Fan, with whatever you come up with, could you, behind the scenes, come up with like, and this is why, dude, people don't even realize how integral you are on my channel, man. You're a beast. But let's think about also, we should come up with a, rather like a message first, like a, hey guys, this is what's going on, and then an introduction to the new system sort of thing. I'm sure you'll come up with something. But you're a beast, dude. I gotta buy you a coffee. But to get back to Win Santiago, he says Glacken, Hutchinson, there is money to be made. Everybody is underwriting. So for a members shout out video, and this is why I'm going to keep the membership on the YouTube channel too. I'm not just going to remove the Johnny Says VIP YouTube membership, because I'm going to keep that. You join on YouTube, you also join the Discord, but I need to figure out how to get the boys in the Discord who haven't rejoined, and now they're just in there for free. I need to figure out how to get them to rejoin. But my point was, on the YouTube membership, we got a members video. So if you're a level 2, once a month, you tell me what video to break down a fight, and I do it. And one of those fights is happening this weekend, and that's Hutchinson versus Jeffers. Now, this is a fight. I watched some of the boys on YouTube do their breakdowns, and they're not too excited about it. Dude, this is a fun fight. This is a fight where we can win a lot of money. And Hutchinson is the $1.31. He's the A side. Mark Jeffers, $3.80. We know Jeffers is a guy who's moving up a division. Hutchinson is the naturally bigger guy. Hutchinson's going to have all the intangibles. Jeffers is coming off a fight which we covered. He was fighting a kid from New Orleans, and he was a 3-1 favorite, and he just had a flat performance and lost. So psychologically as well, both guys, I don't think, both guys have had some time off. I think there's money to be made. I'm not getting any options yet on method of victory, but Nathanial Collins versus Lorente, I'm waiting for a method of victory. I think Nathanial Collins is trending this way. When you watch his style, when you watch how he operates and what he's looking for, the sharpness on his punches, I think we could get a stoppage. So I'm waiting to see odds on Collins versus Lorente, and they're actually here. So, it's big plus money. I'm not going to call it a lock yet, but I might jump on this. I'm either going to look heroic or I'm going to look like a moron. But I'm really, really leaning on Nathanial Collins by stoppage at plus 345. Obviously, I can't call that a lock, but I could call that my plus money pick of the week. So we're gonna talk about it. Goat, Mar the Prince, are you doing UFC 320? Yep, Mar. I'm back, baby. Mar, I was kind of quiet last week because I was sick, and we have Dana White Contender Series tomorrow, and the UFC. So I got some picks for you. Goat in the house. What's good, big dog? Adu, if I go level 2, will you break down? Of course. You know what? I have to. You know what? Adu, if you do that, you're not only going to troll, but I'll do it for you, big dog. I have to, man. I'm a man of ethics. That's the only way I will ever break down a Jake Paul fight, is if you guys are a level 2 membership and you request that breakdown. So there you go. Mankey Crazy in the house. What's up? How are you doing? Mankey Crazy is the one who asked for the Jeffers versus Hutchinson fight. So that video is up. You can see the shout out and hear it. You can hear my breakdown. Mar the Prince Mar says Collins looked good against McGregor. And my favorite thing about that fight, Mar, other than us being spot on with it, is his timing. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was catching McGregor. McGregor got caught in one of the first exchanges. And from that point on, it was almost like he was getting caught frozen. Not getting frozen by a shot where you see guys free up, but he was getting caught in between punches, sort of confused. And that's when, one of my first coaches would say catching your opponent in a web. So like a sort of like a spider web. You catch them looking at your work, not looking at their work, but looking at your work, and then they're second guessing their next decision. And by the time they're making it, you're tagging them, you're stinging them. Floyd Mayweather was great at this. Shakur Stevenson's really good at this, catching his opponent in his web, making them second guess their decision making, and before they can make that decision, they're getting tagged, they're getting countered. And that's what I liked with Collins, and I think that it's his timing that could lead to a stoppage. Because you don't have to have one punch knockout power to get stoppages at the highest level. 17-0, 8 knockouts. You know, it was a 50-50 fight going to the McGregor fight. People had him as the dog. I really liked what I saw. I need to watch more. I'm doing my tape study right now on Cristobal Lorente, the Spanish kid. He's undefeated. I think he's 20-0 with two draws. So I got to do my due diligence. I want to watch his setups. What I'm going to look for is how Cristobal Lorente looks when he's punching with his opponent, how Cristobal Lorente looks when he's fighting on his back foot, also how he looks in the pocket. I still need to watch, and when I'm doing tape study, especially if I'm getting froggy on a plus money stoppage or method of victory, these are things I'm looking for. He is 20-0. He has 8 knockouts. He hasn't got a knockout since 2023. You know, he's been in some 12-rounders, been in some 6-rounders. He's coming off of a split draw. Guys, did anybody watch his last fight against Ruben Gill? I didn't watch. I can't sit here and tell you I've watched his fights. I haven't. So that's why I'm doing tape study. And it looks like one of the judges gave it 117-11. 117 and 111 to Gill. One of the judges gave it 113, 115 to Lorenz, and the other one had it 14-14. So I just have to do my film study. What is Cristobal Loren's path to victory versus Collins? See, this is what we're talking about, Mankey. I'm thinking that he's gonna think, you know, from the looks of it, he seems like a pretty slick guy. We'll see. 5'9". He's gonna. I'm uploading my. You'll find out shortly. Rando Light, sub Johnny, food poisoning fucking sucks. I had it like 2 months ago. Yeah, bro, Rando. It was brutal. I got it from basically a lobster risotto. And I thought I was good. I had one day of just vomit. I'll spare you the nastiness. One day of horribleness, if I just made that word up, and then I thought I was fine, and then I wasn't fine. Hey, man, just came back from the hospital due to my heart problem, high blood pressure. Damn, bro, stay safe, Vic. I didn't know you had a heart problem. You know, dude, well wishes. Your heart problem and high blood pressure makes my food poisoning looks like small business. We always got love for you, bro. Rando, I might have a star back soon. Got hacked. That's all good, Rando. You be good. I know you take care of the boys. Nice, Dad. Thanks. I watched Mauro Forte versus Lorente. All right, there you go. See, this is why you got to love the chat. Was a little while ago, but feel like it was a decent competition. Okay. So you actually watched that fight. They got... See, currently, you know, BoxRec has Lorente at 53 at 126. He is 5'9". You know, I'm struggling to find his reach. BoxRec doesn't have a lot on him. And Collins is the smaller guy. He's 5'6". So the Spanish kid is going to have a 3.5 inch height advantage if things are all legit, if this goes the way, if we could trust it. Collins is 17 in the world on that algorithm. And I think he's ranked right behind Nick Ball in the UK. Yeah, so the 126ers in the UK, you got Nick Ball, then Collins. But then Collins is ranked 17 globally on the BoxRec algorithm. Guys, what do you make? Did you guys hear this announcement from... What are you making of the Ring Magazine? Do we still hold credibility for the Ring Magazine? Like, how do I phrase this? Do we all still hold credence and credibility to the Ring Magazine and the Ring Belt as a sanctioning body like we always have, even since Turki Al-Sheikh has bought it? Because I don't know what to make of Max Kellerman. Like, I've been subscribed to the Ring Magazine since I was a kid. I used to get the magazines. So for me, it's hard. When I saw Turki Al-Sheikh buy the Ring Magazine from Oscar De La Hoya, I was like, it made me suspicious. And then he brings Max Kellerman in. Obviously, that's a good business move from Turki, who's a very outspoken guy. He could definitely sell his perspective. What do you make of all this? Because they just announced today that Zuffa Boxing, Dana White, is only acknowledging the Ring Magazine rankings for all the divisions. And the Ring Magazine is posting on their social media channels. You could go to their YouTube channel. And they're sort of like presenting this as finally, you know, we finally have a they in boxing. And Kellerman, you could watch him on his Instagram. He's talking about this. He goes, when you're talking about the NBA, when you're talking about the NFL, and you're talking about, you know, the NBA, their playoff system, their wild card system, their 7-game series, when they move from a 5-game to a 7, the they in the NBA, you know who the they is, the commissioner, etc. He claims boxing never had a they, and he's standing on business saying that because Zuffa Boxing is recognizing the Ring Magazine rankings only, now boxing has a they. Now, what do you make of all this? I love you. Streams in chat, boxing bets, genetics for my dad's heart mom. Yeah, man. We get things from our parents. Max Kellerman is trash. Blue collar, man, and you know what? You're speaking my language here, because I've never, when I was younger, when I was in my 20s, I liked Max Kellerman because of his divisiveness. But if you boys are in your 20s now, something to expect as you get older. I think this is human nature. As we get older as men, we get a little bit more conservative in our judgment of, I guess, people. When I was in my 20s, I liked polarizing figures. I liked divisiveness. I liked chaos. So I kind of liked Kellerman in my 20s. He had a show on ESPN. He would say the most outlandish shit, and I wouldn't agree with him, but I was here for it, sort of thing. Now, with this sort of resurfacing in Max, he's exactly who he's always been. I'm just like, I guess I never realized how disrespectful or how one side, you can't be an absolutist in boxing. And like when you're telling your story, when you're standing on a platform and you have a lot of people listening, it's really important to be non-opinionated, non-divisive. You can't trash fighters when you have this huge, and that, I don't like the way he goes about his business, how that's what I've seen. He's still doing that sort of thing. Dana White, I heard about it too. More that there's credibility, but the politics will taint it. So Mankey, but Zuffa is helping women's boxing. Yep. Muscle Brown. Oh yeah, there they go, the money. What's up, Muscles? Brandon, what's up, Johnny? What's up, boys? Everyone's checking in. As you guys are checking in, give me a thumbs up. Don't know what to make of Ring Magazine fiasco, but it appears to be odd. Simplest answer is typically the correct one. Time shall tell. True story. PJ, what's your thoughts on Glacken versus Doherty? Who wins the fight goes the distance? Yeah, PJ, let's talk about that real quick. Guys, the Ring conversation, the Ring Magazine announcement will obviously be an ongoing chat that we'll have throughout the weeks. We'll see how it plays out. It just seems to me a little bit fishy. It seems to me, they're making, all of a sudden, Max Kellerman is the voice of reason for global boxing. Whatever Max says goes. Whatever Dana White says, Zuffa Boxing tweets, we're only acknowledging the Ring rankings. We're only acknowledging the Ring belt. Now that's, word is bond. So I don't know. We're going to get into it. Muscle Brown says there's money on the... Oh, boys, there's always money, baby. Muscle Brown, there's always money, dude. There's always money. All right, so let's get into PJ's question. PJ, I got to be honest with you. It's my Tuesday morning. I haven't done my tape yet on Glacken and O'Doherty. Right now, my books have it as a 50-50 fight. On paper, both guys are undefeated. Both guys have, I think, under a 30% knockout to win ratio, I'm pretty sure. You got Glacken 16-0 with 3 knockouts. And you got O'Doherty 10-0 with 2 knockouts. So this is that, atypical amateur style at the pro level. Guys who are just going to tap, score, not really sitting on too many punches. And, one has a 20% knockout to win ratio. The other has a 8. When both guys have under a 20% knockout to win ratio and both guys are undefeated and both guys have 10 or more wins, dare I say domestic level? You know what I'm saying? Those numbers, those statistics, and like break down their resumes. 5-1, 15-25, 8-22, 16-12, 16-36. Yeah. We'll wait till the odds come out. If anything, we'll see if we get an over and under prop. We'll see, will the fight go the distance prop. The good news is, because it's already opened as a 50-50 fight, hopefully we could get some good odds leaning one way or another. Will the fight go the distance? I'm not getting those yet. Let me know if you're getting them. Mateo was never really a fan of Max. I also didn't like the way he was talking down on boxing, acting like Dana and Tiki. 100%, Mateo. That's what I mean. Are the saviors of the sport. I've enjoyed the sport last last year. What he's saying. Yeah, it's odd, man. I'm torn too. I'm very hesitant with Max. Who's your Brown Glanton lean? Interested to see the odds. Yeah, I'm not I'm not getting odds yet on it, Mar. I've checked Bet365. I've checked Sportsbet. In terms of activity, what have you done for me lately? I got to lean with Glanton. I like the energy he's coming to the table with. It's going to be interesting though. He's fought in a couple of those one-round boxing tournaments, and he was supposed to fight on that undercard with Amir Khan, but he just disappeared. That whole event was kind of odd. And we last saw him against Chris Billum Smith, and it looked to me Glanton, even though he lost, even though Chris Billum Smith impressed me, even though I missed my bet, I thought it was a bad read on my end. I did like Glanton's energy in the fight. What CBS really exposed in Glanton is that there are levels to this game, and sometimes the levels have to do with game planning. You know what I mean? Glanton was all gas early. Front foot. Glanton was headhunting. Glanton was trying to knock Billum Smith out. And the levels you got to see in Billum Smith were him being able to weather the storm. And if you rewatch it, Chris Billum Smith jumped out early. So that was a great game plan. Chris Billum Smith, historically, you watch some of his fights, he doesn't really jump out early a lot. We've seen mixed results. Sometimes he starts slow. I was expecting for a slow start. He didn't do that. He really jumped on the front foot early and basically told Glanton that he wasn't going to bully him. And Billum Smith was massive. And I don't know if Glanton underestimated him. I don't know if he believed his own hype. He couldn't hurt him. Billum Smith is one of those guys you got to hit with literally like a fire extinguisher or a baseball bat to even move him. And Glanton wasn't able to do it. And we know Brown. Brown has at one time Brown had some pop to him in terms of his name, his marketability. And as of late, we really haven't seen that. Let's pull his stats up real quick. So it's a good question, Mar. It's really tough for me to sell out on either guy when I'm not getting odds. Because sometimes the odds allow us to pick and choose. You know what I mean? What have you done for me lately? Just last weekend, my biggest hit last weekend was getting Anthony Cuba at plus 235. Now, he closed at 170, but he started as a dog. So I can't say I would have been so stoked on Cuba if I would have saw at the beginning of the week he was a dog. So I use that, or that he wasn't a dog. So I use that as an example of I need to see the odds first with Glanton versus Brown. So you give me Cuba plus 235, I'm all over it, that sort of thing. So right now, Glanton, he's ranked 24 at cruiser. Marcus Brown, 25-2. When's the last time we saw Marcus Brown fight? 16 knockouts. I mean, he could be a live dog here, dude. Marcus Brown has some class to him. 6'2", southpaw, inactive. I mean, we haven't seen him in 2 years, though, guys. He got stopped against Better Beef. He got knocked out in a fight that he was down on the cards. You can make what you will about that fight. That John Pascal, that was a weird fight. You know what I mean? Headbutt. He has a win over Badu Jack. Take what you want about that. That seems like it was 40 years ago. It was 6 years ago. I mean, what are we going to expect from Marcus Brown? You know what I mean? Who is he as a fighter? What's his identity? We know what Brandon Glanton is. We know what he wants to do. How old is Marcus Brown now? How old's Glanton? 33. Glanton's 33. I don't know. I think if you give me Marcus Brown, if the odds have Glanton as a huge favorite, I don't know. I got to see tape. I wouldn't be writing Marcus Brown off. I'd like to see the odds there. I'm liking Glanton so far. My film study, PJ, Padley versus Reese Bellotti fight goes. I don't think so. I saw Padley versus Bellotti goes down in 2 weeks. We hit on Ryan Gardner. I hit big on Gardner to stop Bellotti. I think Padley could do the same thing. Yeah, Gardner stopped him in the 12th, stopped him late. I don't know, man. I'd have to. Right now, Right now, I'm high on Josh Padley to beat Bellotti based on what I saw with Ryan Gardner versus Bellotti. Julius Reese Bellotti says he's retiring. Yeah, that's not a good sign. And I mean, he's coming off. He just got stopped in a long fight, Julius. It's not like Gardner stopped Bellotti in the third. You know, it stopped early. It was a long fight. Getting stopped in the 12th and then taking a fight right after that. I mean, say what you will about the stoppage. The stoppage is a stoppage. It was a long fight too. Collins Hutchinson seems to be the play. 100% Rando. It just depends on how sexy we want to get. Because Collins and Hutchinson on the money line. If you want it, let's use Muscle Brown numbers. Let's use 10,000. We'll use we'll use denominations right now of 10,000. Hutchinson on the money line. Collins on the money line. What do I got? I got a 12-legger working. What is this? So Hutchinson money line, Collins money line, 154. 10,000 will get you 5,000 back. I mean, but these are Brit. This is in the UK though. You know, I don't. Did you watch the McComb fight? He gets dropped in the very first exchange. He was a lock. I hit big on McComb on points. I think I hit McComb on points at like $1.85. So that was another method of victory we hit. But my point is, these fights in the UK will have you sweating no matter what. Muscle Brown more, I like the over in the distance. Adu, CBS game plan in the Glant fight was getting for, yeah. It was a good game plan. It was a good game plan, Adu. And Glant didn't have any answers for it. Glant was frustrated. PJ, Glant wants an early knockout. He always wants that early knockout. So Josh would need to start fast to stop Bellotti. I don't know. I don't know if he has to start fast. Statistically speaking, Padley's a pretty accurate puncher. And, you know, for a guy who gets stopped in the 9th round against Shakur, I mean, the dude's confident. I think Padley has more class than people give him credit. I think Bellotti, on the other hand, wasn't as good as people thought he was. Let's hear that. That was PJ. It was left over from last week. So I use my laptop to go over the picks with you guys on the live stream, but I use my mobile device to actually put the picks in and bet. And so both devices aren't on the betting app isn't connected. Yeah, I think so, Julius, as well. And you know what? And this is a phrase Julius is using, cashing out, that if you would have asked me 6 months ago to use that phrase, that terminology, I would have been against it because I always thought it was disrespectful for, you know, to say they're cashing a fighter out. But when you start looking at it, you know, from a non-fan but more analytical business decision, because essentially the promotional companies, these are the racehorses. You do it with racehorses. You do it with dogs. You cash the dogs out. You cash the horses out. You want to squeeze the juice from the orange. You know, as much juice. And some oranges have a lot of juice, and some oranges have a little bit left. And you can kind of tell with a fighter who's trending on the downside of their career, depending on where they are, how old they are, how much juice is left, and you can kind of predict these things. And with that being said, when we're putting money on an outcome, I think it's fair to say what Julius said. It seems like they're cashing Reese out, and I could see that as well, especially just you know, turning him around so quickly as well. Yeah, Vic, we appreciate you. More. Padley got a lot of shit leading up to his fight with Shakur because of the day job thing. Yeah, and Mar, what a crazy world we live in, Mar. You know, and this is, I think, a testament to more of how uninformed the younger generation is, or how uninformed humanity is. Since when do we make fun of a man who's a tradesman? So being a skilled, down here in Australia, they're called tradesmen. Being a skilled tradesman, having a craft such as, you know, being a plumber, being an electrician, being a carpenter, these are very well-respected jobs here in Australia, making over $100K a year, doing all of those. And you hear, like, the boxing fandom when they use it as a derogatory comment. He was fighting a plumber. I'm like, dude, plumbers get paid a lot of money. That's a very skilled profession. being a plumber is something that people will always need, and because it's a skill, you could do it anywhere. You could travel to do it too, and you have to be a certain mentality to be a plumber. You have to, a specific gritty mindset. I always thought it was weird that people were. Now I get it was a knock. It was a bigger knock, I think, on Shakur. But if you're Padley's people, you got to get offended by it too. People were trying. It was still that sort of hate on Shakur that was still at a fever pitch from the performance against De Los Santos, and then De Los Santos tweeted Shakira Twitterson, and then that sort of like led the boxing fandom, the casuals, into pouring on Shakur, and then as if it was Shakur's fault that Schofield pulled out. Schofield pulls out, so all of a sudden Shakur's fighting a cab driver, a plumber. But then you if you're a UK fight fan and you know about Padley, you're like, this dude got some class to him, and he showed it. He went out on a shield, and he's looked good since. So I think he's gonna level up against Reese. I expect him to look equally as good. We'll see. Real quick on the Boots fight, what's the play? All right, let's get to that, man. We got time. Julius Arslanbach is a caveman. Allen getting knocked out or getting 1-6. Allen getting knocked out. Okay, Julius, you think you're going against Allen? Arslanbach's really slow, mate, and I think people are sleeping on Dave Allen's athleticism. Dave Allen, dude. Look, I can't sit here and say I got this read, Julius. Dave Allen just gives me mixed reads all the time. I'm 0-2 in his last two, When I think I got him read, I'm wrong. And when I bet against him, I'm wrong. So I'm going to wait to do more tape. The Arslanbach tape, man, it doesn't look good. Nobody could sit here and tell me the Arslanbach film study looks good. It doesn't look good. But Dave Allen, you know what I like the most about Dave Allen is how he sat and prayed. Preyed on the ropes. And then you saw him open up with his hands. I was like, I didn't know Allen had, there's one thing with having hand speed at range. There's another thing with being able to have hand speed in the pocket. You know what I'm saying? Changing those angles of the power punches and still kind of developing your... I didn't know Allen had that level to him. I know, granted, he was fighting Johnny Fisher, but still, Fisher, Fisher was supposed to win that fight. Adu says, real quick on the Boots fight, what's the play? Mate, don't sleep on Lima, dude. You're telling me, dude, Lima is the champion here. Lima is the 154. Lima is the guy with the IBO belt around his waist. Boots is the guy who's never fought at 54. Boots is the guy coming up. I mean, historically, we talk about it all the time. We've been talking about it the last few weeks. I'm not saying Lima's going to beat Boots. No, I'm not saying that. But I'm also not saying Boots is going to stop him. I'm waiting to see what the odds are going to be. Off jump, I like Boots. I like the fight to go the distance. Because you got to understand, Boots' game plan, when Boots is cooking, it's not like Boots cooks because he gets reads on you and then he picks you apart based on what you're doing wrong. That's not how Boots fights. Boots uses his athleticism. Boots is doing what he wants to do. He doesn't really care what you're doing. Watch both Karen Chukachin fights. You know what I mean? It took Boots a whole nother fight to get the read on Chukachin. And Chukachin's a really tough opponent. So my point is, you have certain fighters who operate, they read you, they start a little bit slow on purpose, they dissect you, and then they start cooking, and then they get you out of there. Based on what you're doing wrong, that's not how Boots boxes. Boots is doing what Boots wants to do. So he's sort of getting into his own rhythm, his own confidence, based on what he's doing. So my point is, never been in there with Lima. I don't expect Lima to be that aggressive with him. We'll see what happens. Right now, off jump, I like Boots by decision. What time is it in Australia or New Zealand? So it is 7 a.m. Tuesday morning in Sydney, Australia. EV 44 ounces. I like Patty. Julius, October 11th, a lot of opportunities. Yeah, man, there's a lot of opportunities coming up. We got there's boxing in Africa tomorrow. We'll see if we get options. Guys, 35 minutes in. Let's like this video. Put a thumbs up. We're just going to start cooking here. Boxing fan, I'm an HVAC Master Tech. There you go. And I'll stretch you. Dude, that's a very boxing fan proves my point. These are very admirable positions to have. These are very skilled positions. And down here in Australia, mate, these are very well respected positions. Will Willie Hutchinson versus Mark Jeffers go the distance? Maybe. Maybe. I'll let you know soon. We got time. I'll be giving you my method of victory props. Dave Allen, Arslan Beck, huge, but like you said, Johnny, Dave Allen loses every time he steps up. Fisher was a hype job. So you think Arslan Beck is a step up? What have you seen in Arslan Beck that I don't know, man? Jumps on his opponents. He's not going to give Allen time to think. Dave Allen's awful performance against Yoka and Fraser Clark still sticks with me. Yeah, it's sometimes you get, sometimes on that heavyweight division, Julius, a little splash of positive psychology goes a long way with these heavyweights. It's weird. You see it more in the heavyweight division where you see guys, think about Oliver McCall. Just if you're unfamiliar with Oliver McCall, just go to his box rec and you'll see what I'm talking about. He goes from a guy who, one of the biggest upsets in heavyweight recent history, knocking Lewis out, to crying on his stool. He's crying. So like my point is that's kind of the opposite, the flip. But psychology in the heavyweight division, sometimes you just need a big win to, because when you're that heavy and you can punch, and all it takes is a couple punches to change the trajectory of a fight. That means all it takes is a couple punches to change the trajectory of a career. How do we put ourselves as the fighter in a position to land the punches? That's a psychological thing. That's a risk you have to take. So in the heavyweight division, if you're hesitant, if you're afraid to take those risks for the sake of the negative outcome, then you're going to get mixed results. But sometimes when things start going your way, you put yourself in the fire a bit more, you take a little bit more risks, and then you give yourself an opportunity to be on the other side. And Dave Allen, I mean, he could punch. We'll see. There's not a lot of Arslan Beck tape that I like. I don't see, what are the odds right now? I'm going to check them. I wouldn't be confident betting on either guy. But you give me Dave Allen at plus money, dude. At home? Let's go. Yeah, right now I'm with Dave Allen over Arslan Beck, mate. Dave Allen's $2.10. 100 on him gets you, your money back plus 110. Arslan Beck's plus 183. So you're just siding on the fact that Arslan Beck's a giant. He's going to drown Dave Allen. Dave Allen's not going to punch, and he's going to be sort of like intimidated by that, a confronting style. And then we're going to say that because every time Dave Allen stepped up, things haven't gone his way. But wasn't Dave Allen, and then to fit that narrative though, wasn't Dave Allen an underdog against Johnny Fisher? And didn't he stop him? But then people were going to say, oh, Johnny Fisher was overhyped. So we keep moving the goalpost back, right? If we're going to use these, if we're going to develop these narratives and these sort of realities around fighters while we're picking one versus the other, we got to at least be consistent with how we tell the story of what each fighter has done. Dave Allen, 24-7. He's been stopped 4 times. True story. 33 years old. Not an old heavyweight. Lost his last, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. That Fraser Clark got knocked out in the 6th. It was only 2 years ago. Johnny Fisher lost a split, knocked Fisher out in the 5th. And then he was on a little bit of a win streak. David Price got knocked out in the 10th. When he knocked out Lucas Brown, man, people forget. Lucas Brown in 2019 was a beast, dude. Lucas Brown, an Aussie heavyweight. Lucas Brown was the first ever Australian heavyweight champion. And he's a very awkward guy. Lucas Brown, people forget about that. He's a 6'7" dude who fights on his toes. Lucas Brown was slick. His hands are like this big, and he could crack. And so, if we're talking about the Fraser Clark knockout, you got to then talk about when he knocked out Lucas Brown in the 3rd. So, I mean, it goes each way. Torioka, 2018, that was 7 years ago. You know what I mean? So, he hasn't had a perfect career. He got stopped against Luis Ortiz in the 7th. Dillian White went 10 rounds with him 10 years ago. You know, it could be one of the, who knows, man. Dave Allen at 33 years old, 24 wins, 19 of them are by knockout. You get him confidently boxing, using his footwork, his speed, catching Arslanbek. I don't know, man. I like David Allen in this fight. Adu says, this is the first fight Allen is actually training properly. He has the smarts now with the fitness. I think he wins too, man. I like him in this fight. Dave Allen lost a couple of years, but was going the distance with journeyman and club shows. Well, he's never really sort of, you know, I just think that a lot of these guys don't have the freedom to train properly. You know what I mean? A lot of these guys have to have, you know, have side jobs. I know he has young kids. He has a family. He just said that last win against Johnny Fisher, he finally had money to build a second room in his house. So, I mean, you never know what these guys are going through. That's why you can't judge them on the totality of their losses. That's why I always say, what have you done for me lately? I mean, it hasn't looked that bad lately. Even the finishing sequence, how he laid and prayed. He waited and prayed against. Go to the finishing sequence against Fisher. Adu, Arslan's bear fighting is pretty impressive. Yeah, his bear fighting, but that's an old story, dude. The people from that part of the world have been, you know, showing videos of wrestling bears forever. You know, you could find videos of Khabib Nurmagomedov doing that when he was 8 years old. So it's like a thing. They train, they domesticate bears to do this. Boots by decision plus 300. EV, man, I like that pick. I gotta be honest with you. Boots by decision at plus 300. I got a couple $100 in my betting account. I would sprinkle it on that right now. EV taking the over 7.5. I like that bet. Makhmadov is not Johnny Fisher. Yeah. So you guys are high on Makhmadov. 20-2. He's listed. He's 36. I mean, he looks like he's 82 years old. 6'6". He only has 57 pro rounds. I don't know, man. The knockout, you know, Guido Vanello is a good heavyweight. Guido Vanello, the Italian Olympian. We just saw Guido against Kiki Torres. Guido Vanello that's a good win, man. He got stopped against Ajit Caballel in the 4th. I'm sorry, guys. I think Dave Allen beats him. I'm not sold on this guy. He doesn't move his head. He's stiff. He's slow. I don't know. I think Dave Allen is going to impress people here. It's a fun fight. Allen put his hand up. Picked Arslan. He plays dumb. He is a smart dude. It's a fun fight. Right now, I like Dave Allen at plus money. Who do you favor, Guido versus Alex Pereira? That's coming up, isn't it? I think Guido, people sleep on Guido. Guido has some class to him. I have to see the odds. My official pick is to take the under on Caveman. I like it, Julius. If it's under 7.5, I like it too. The problem is, you know, volume. And we've seen Allen kind of just wait around a bit too. Dave Allen going to catch him. Adu, Allen handpicked Arslan for a reason. PJ, you just said Allen got knocked out by 4 opponents. None of them is on. Yeah, but that was like, none of them is. What level is Makhmadov on? You don't, hold on. You don't think Ajit Caballel is on Arslanbek's level? You just said Allen got knocked out by 4 opponents. None of them. Hold on. You think Arslanbek beats Caballel? I don't. Hold on. I misread your comment. You're saying none of the guys that stopped Allen are on Arslanbek's level. Fraser Clark, David Price, Tony Yoka. Luis Ortiz. I think the Luis Ortiz, you know, if he wasn't 58 years old, we'll see, man. We'll see. I don't like Arslanbek here. I don't like this matchup for him. Arslanbek last fight, he literally destroys his opponent in 1 minute. Ricardo Brown. Come on, man. Are we so we're using Ricardo Brown as our Ricardo Brown was 45 years old. He had 25 pro rounds, Ricardo Brown. Ricardo Brown was 58 years old, 25 pro rounds. And that's what we're using. I don't know, man. I think your boy Arslanbek's gonna get the ass beat, dude. I think people are gonna be surprised how he gets beat. I'm not sold on him, dude. I think he's manufactured. Usma lasting 12 rounds with boots is a tall order. You think so? I don't know. I guess Allen for the yeah. We got guys. Do your film. These fight. We got time. We're just sprinkling the chatter, right? These aren't my. This isn't my for sure pick, but you know, talking about Arslanbek dog walking Ricardo Brown is pretty wild. The bookies got this fight right. Magmadov is the favorite for a reason. I don't think so. I don't think he should be the. Yeah. He should be the favorite. I agree. I just don't think he's gonna win. I think. I do, man. I think self-confidence goes a long way, man. In all sports, we know that. I'm not telling you guys things you don't know, but especially in a sport where it's combat, self-confidence, you know, is everything. I'm gonna use an MMA analogy here, an example. A lot of UFC fans, when you guys talk about Charles Oliveira, a lot of you guys put Charles Oliveira in like one of the greatest champions of all time. Now, I'm an MMA fan who I remember Charles Oliveira's first ever UFC fight. I watched Du Bronx's entire career. I remember when he would train in South Texas. I remember when he married his wife when she didn't even speak Portuguese. I remember when he quit against Max Holloway during an exchange against the Octagon. He said that he had a torn esophagus. This was at 145. I remember when he was a guy who would be known as a quitter at 145, where he would have 50-50 results. Sometimes he'd look good, sometimes he wouldn't. We used to call him a broke version of he was like a broke version because he would strike a lot, and he was like a broke version of Edson Barbosa. And Charles Oliveira, I was like, this dude's dirt. And, you know, the newer fans, when he moved up to 155, he had a resurgence in his career. He was a new father, and he went on this win streak, and then he started putting everything together. And, you know, I'm not disagreeing with you. When Charles was on his run, he was one of the most dominant champions. He could beat you everywhere. He could sub you. He could strike you out. But my point is that renaissance in his career happened due to confidence. And, you know, it's a great example. Self-confidence in combat sports, man, it can mean all the difference. From watching Dave Allen, following his YouTube channel, watching his Instagram, him handpicking Arslanbek, watching, you know, what he looked like against Fisher, having another fight at Sheffield. I think the confidence, I think he's going to look just as good. I like Allen in this fight. PJ, it's tough for us to go over a winning parlay, mate, when we're not getting odds for anything. Rambler, it'll be the best win since Lucas Brown. Brown needs to come back. Yeah, Brown is fighting bare knuckle now. People sleep on Lucas Brown, man. Lucas Brown's a fun guy. He's a fun dude, too. He's a good guy. I interviewed him a couple times. Greetings, brother, from Spain. España, your boy's fighting Lorente. I hope Lorente makes a better fight than the one he did before. Rayo de la Santo Liga. Yeah, Cristobal Lorente is fighting Nathanial Collins, man. It's a good fight. Good opportunity for him. Lorente, undefeated fighter, 20-0 with 2 draws. 5'9.5". He's going to have a 3.5-inch height advantage over Collins. I'm uploading that breakdown today. Guys, I'm going to lock it up here shortly because I got to go on a run. So I'm going to go on this little 10K run. I'm going to come back. I'm going to upload my prediction of Collins versus Lorente. Guys, join our insider group. The link is pinned here in the comment section below. If you're in the Discord and you haven't rejoined, do it here on YouTube. I don't want to put anybody on blast in there. There's like 25 of you guys who are just floating in the Discord without rejoining. So do that for me now. Victor Makhmudov will beat Dave Allen. Brandon St. Julian, what are the early picks? Brandon St. Julian, what's up? What's up, my guy? So we're only getting three fights right now. I got Collins on the money line and Hutchinson on the money line. We're waiting for props to open up on Method of Victories. There's a card in Africa tomorrow. Brandon Glanton is fighting. Jersley Vargas is fighting. We got Dana White Contender Series tomorrow. I'll give you my picks tonight on those. And then there's some good UFC fights happening at the end of the week, as well as some other fight cards in boxing. So stay tuned. Join the Discord. Boxing Fan will develop a game plan to get the people to